say a man who drove into a crowd at a Christmas parade, killing 5 people and injuring 48 others, will be charged with intentional homicide. He's been named as 39-year-old Darrell Brooks. Austrians are once again living under full national lockdown restrictions. It's the first European Union country to reimpose such a measure this autumn. Reflecting surging COVID numbers as winter looms, it will run for between 10 and 20 days. And the leaders of Belgium and the Netherlands have criticised violence seen in their countries over the weekend, linked to terrorist protests against coronavirus restrictions. And the Women's Tennis Association says it still has concerns about the well-being of the Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai, despite the IOC having a video call with the player.
International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach has held a video call with Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai. But the Women's Tennis Association says this doesn't change its call for a full investigation into her allegation of sexual assault. The IOC announced on Sunday that in the 30-minute call, Peng thanked the Olympic body for its concern about her well-being. It added that she said she's safe and well, would like to have her privacy respected, and prefers spending time with friends and family right now. But a WTA spokesperson told Reuters news agency that the call doesn't address or alleviate the association's concern about Peng's well-being and ability to communicate without censorship. The spokesperson stressed that it doesn't change the WTA's call for a full, fair, and transparent investigation into her allegation of sexual assault. Peng had not been seen in public since she made the allegation against former Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli. Her whereabouts were a matter of international concern. Since then, videos purportedly showing Peng in recent days have been uploaded on social media accounts of people working for state-backed media. Coronavirus cases are surging again in Europe. Governments have come up with measures to restrict people's activities, triggering protests across the region. In Belgium, people took to the streets in Brussels to oppose government plans. Authorities have imposed a mask mandate at indoor venues for people aged 10 or older. They also require people to work from home at least 4 days a week.
These rules the government is implying is getting out of hand, and here, so we're all here together to demand for more open communication from the government and to the civilians.
Local police say about 35,000 people took part in the protest, and about 40 were detained after clashing with a police squad. In the neighboring Netherlands, protests have continued. The daily number of COVID cases in the country reached a record 23,000 last week. People are reacting sharply to a government plan to limit indoor venue access to the fully vaccinated. South Korea is also seeing a resurgence of the coronavirus. The daily tally reached a record 3,292 cases last Wednesday.
The government estimates daily infections could reach around 5,000 to 10,000.
The percentage of fully vaccinated people in the country stands at 78.9%. Observers say breakthrough infections are to blame among seniors who were vaccinated early on. The virus situation has been stable in Japan, with few new cases reported. A member of the government's expert panel on the pandemic had this to say about measures to prevent breakthrough infections.
People who had their second shots 6 months or longer ago are advised to get booster shots, as are elderly people who are more likely to develop serious symptoms and people with immune deficiencies.
Japan confirmed 50 new cases on Monday, a low for this year. 63 patients are seriously ill. Now to the latest on a troubling incident in the U.S. state of Wisconsin. Police say 5 people are dead after a vehicle plowed into a Christmas parade. Video posted on the city of Waukesha's Facebook page showed a red SUV speeding through the parade route. Police say over 40 people were injured, many of them were children. The city's police chief said the vehicle crashed through barriers on the street after driving through the parade, and an officer discharged his weapon trying to stop it. Police have recovered the suspect's vehicle.
We do have a person of interest in custody at the moment, but this is still a very fluid investigation.
Police say they don't know if the incident is related to terrorism. Waukesha is a small suburb of the city of Milwaukee. The parade is one of its biggest annual events, running through its downtown. China's President Xi Jinping and the leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations held online talks on Monday to mark the 30th anniversary of their relations. Xi hopes to strengthen ties with ASEAN so as to keep the U.S. and its allies at arm's length from the bloc.
China and ASEAN have officially established a comprehensive strategic partnership between the two sides.
President Xi said his policy of prioritizing ASEAN in relations with neighboring countries remains unswerving. He said China will import more than $150 billion worth of agricultural products from ASEAN over the next 5 years. He went on to say Beijing will give more than $1.5 billion in aid to the bloc over the next 3 years to fight the coronavirus pandemic and rebuild the regional economy. China will also provide 150 million doses of coronavirus vaccine. President Xi also called on ASEAN members to join hands in dealing with various negative factors that undermine peace in the region. The U.S. and Britain are trying to build closer ties with ASEAN, and both countries have vowed to protect freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. Xi's remark apparently referred to these moves. The summit was held without a representative from Myanmar, an ASEAN member. This comes after the country's military leader, Min Aung Hlaing, was not allowed to join the meeting. Myanmar complained about his exclusion. Japan's top government spokesperson says Major League Baseball star Ohtani Shohei has turned down a prestigious honor from the Japanese government. The government offered the People's Honor Award to the two-way star after his historic season in the U.S. It's considered one of Japan's highest honors and is awarded to prominent athletes or cultural leaders. But Chief Cabinet Secretary Matsuno Hirokazu told reporters Ohtani declined, saying it was too early to receive the award. Matsuno said Ohtani's response shows his determination to sharpen his skills and reach his goals. The Los Angeles Angel was named the American League's most valuable player last week. He's the second Japanese player to be named MVP in the majors after Suzuki Ichiro won 20 years ago. Suzuki also turned down the same award from the Japanese government at that time. Masses of pumice stones have been wreaking havoc along Japan's Pacific coast for weeks. Researchers say the impact of the phenomenon will likely continue. The stones were created by an underwater volcanic eruption in August. Since last month, massive amounts of stones have washed up in the country's southwest. Some of them have been drifting northward in the Pacific. The rocks have damaged fishery operations and marine transportation. On Miyake Island, 180 kilometers south of Tokyo, tourism has been affected. A man who takes visitors fishing on his boat there had this to say.
The impact will likely continue for a while, so there'll probably be no customers. I'm worried about my livelihood.
Large amounts of stones have been drifting ashore in Okinawa and Amami in the southwest. Some have also reached the Izu Island chain south of Tokyo. Researchers released a simulation indicating that a large patch of floating rocks is expected to drift away to the east in early December. They also point out another mass of stones is likely drifting from Okinawa to the islands. An expert says the stones will gradually sink after absorbing seawater, but could drift at a relatively shallow depth.
When ships take in cooling water from the sea, some of the rocks may get stuck inside. Vessels have to operate with extra care.
People on Miyake Island in the Izu Island chain are working to minimize damage by installing barriers to keep the stones away. Japan's Environment Ministry says pumice stones have been confirmed in 5 prefectures, including Okinawa and Tokyo. Police in Tokyo have rearrested a 25-year-old man for attempting to kill passengers on a moving train by spraying them with a flammable liquid. The attacks happened in Tokyo on October 31st, Halloween night. The police had already arrested Hattori Kyota on suspicion of attempting to murder a 72-year-old man with a knife. They arrested him again on Monday on suspicion of trying to kill more passengers and arson. Sources say the attacker chased the passengers, spraying them with about 3 liters of lighter fluid, which he then ignited. 16 people suffered from smoke inhalation and other injuries. He told investigators that he had used water to practice spraying the fluid in a hotel room. Police plan to submit the man to psychiatric testing to determine whether he can be held criminally responsible. Meanwhile, Japan's railway operators are becoming increasingly concerned about passenger safety. On Monday, police and a train operator in Tokyo staged a joint drill. The drill supposed that a man armed with a knife or with toxic gas was attacking passengers. Railways across the country have been carrying out similar drills following the incident. It was a cold and stormy Monday across Japan, and northern parts of the country will be seeing snow Tuesday. Our meteorologist Sakamori has a look at the forecast in world weather.
Hello there. It was a drenching day for many places of Japan on Monday. A cold front and also low pressure system drifted over the country, and that caused the heavy rainfall. We also saw record-breaking heavy rainfall in places like Aichi and Gifu prefectures. On Tuesday, cold westerly winds will kick up the sea-effect snow along the northwestern flank of Japan from Hokkaido down towards the Hokuriku region. So cold weather is expected to affect many places of Japan, especially over the north and western side of the country. The sea-effect snow will also develop across the coast of South Korea. It's going to be quite chilly on Tuesday in Seoul. 4 degrees is expected. Tokyo 17 with nice sunny weather. Shanghai only 10 degrees for you on Tuesday. There's a long cloud band stretching from the west coast of the U.S. up towards the northeastern United States. This system is ushering in colder air from the north. So the sea effect snow is affecting parts of the Great Lakes region. Actually, the lake effect snow is affecting parts of the Great Lakes region. Temperatures are going to be in the teens along the northeast coast, including New York City as well as Washington, D.C. on your Tuesday. Another Pacific storm will pound the Pacific Northwest. Temperatures are going to be as follows for the next 4 days. Turkey, Ohio could see 9 degrees on Thanksgiving Day. But on Thanksgiving Day, Cranberry in Maryland, Pine in West Virginia, and Hampton, California will see generally nice weather. Now, before we go, I want to end with this cute video coming out of Canada. Polar bears were caught on camera in northern Manitoba on Saturday. There are reportedly just under 30,000 polar bears in the world, and 60% of them live in Canada. Loss of sea ice due to climate change has unfortunately rendered some polar bears endangered species. That's it for me. Have a nice day.